Alright, this is a video response. Somebody sent me a message, a very long message that he took his time to write this message, and I want to share this message. It took a lot of time to write it, and it seems that he understands what I'm trying to do, which is a great thing. And the way that he's explaining it, he's summarizing the things that I'm trying to do, and he's doing it very directly and on point. And I like how he's expressing it. He's just basically summarizing like a vast amount of ideas and videos that I've put out there. And he understands. And I wanted to share this. You know, he took the time to write this. Seems like a very intelligent person. And I think it's a great message. So I want to share it. Alright, so the subject is reaction to your videos. I'm just going to read through the whole thing. It says, "Hello Freddie, I've watched a number of your videos over the last several months, and I enjoy hearing your views on things because your views are much different than the norm. You definitely think for yourself, and you tend not to be simple, I don't know what he said, sheeple-minded? Yes, sheeple-minded. Never heard of that word before. But he said, I have also noticed that you have made some people angry. As I was watching one of your videos, I noticed another video on the sidebar, and it was a video from a young man who claimed to be a martial artist, and I think possibly he was into jiu-jitsu. You know, the rolling on the floor kind, although I don't remember for sure. But when I started listening to him speak, I could see he was challenging you to meet him and have a fight with him. I saw another man doing a reply video to some of what you have said in your videos, and when watching his videos, I noticed some of the comments that people were leaving, and some of these people either wanted YouTube to censor you or wanted to do harm to you, or at least they were hoping some BJJ guy would beat you up. My takeaway from those videos from your opponents is that I don't think they get it. They don't understand the main theme in your videos, which is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you speak against fighting competitive or otherwise. You try to discourage fighting and violence, and you teach that martial arts can and should be expressed in a non-violent way, and using martial arts to harm someone should be a last resort and should only be done when self-defense or self-preservation is necessary to protect life and limb. And furthermore, you feel that the UFC and others have corrupted martial arts and are exploiting it for money and encouraging violence and teaching people that it's cool to beat people up and get paid for it. And you sometimes use explicit language in your criticism of Ultimate Fighting, and you name names, and you also speak against certain individuals like Steven Seagal, whom you have issues with. I agree with your views on these things, and your critics, as I said before, don't seem to realize that you are against this I'm a MMA badass mentality that many have. You teach a non-violent expression of martial arts and are against this whose ass can I kick today mentality in the world of MMA, and so on and so forth. These people just think you are just some guy talking tough on YouTube from the security of your home, and they don't, as I said, get your overall message. They just think you are saying you could whip a BJJ practitioner. You know your critics' response to you, challenging you to fights and wanting to see harm come to prove all the points you have made about the current mindset of the so-called martial arts community, and that is they like violence and fighting. Please keep making videos and speaking out. Maybe others will get the message." So, this guy gets what I'm doing, and he spent the time to write that message, and it's exactly what I'm trying to do. And I personally have not seen any of these hate videos. I refuse to give them my time, but obviously other people have seen them, and I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Martial arts to me should be expressed in a non-violent way. It should be towards creativity, towards self-expression, and bettering yourself, bettering society. And there needs to be more intelligence and spirit in the martial arts today. It's just very much corrupted with a pretty much like a criminal mentality, and it's been overtaken and now it's being run by like bullies, and it's very sad. And I hope that through time it will change. But either way, the people that love the martial arts, they should express it in the proper way, on an individual level, and represent. So the haters will hate, and all they know how to do is challenge. I accept no challenges. It's not about fighting to me, at least not physically. It's about expressing yourself and standing up for what you see to be truth. The fight that these people are trying to do physically with me is not the type of fight that I'm aiming to prove anything. I'm not trying to prove that my method is the best method. I'm saying that what's going on in the martial arts community, it's a shame, and that needs to be changed. There's a lot of violence and irresponsibility, and that's why I'm pretty much promoting and heading people towards weapons training, specifically firearms training, because firearms is the modern day weapon of choice out there, and that is the real dangers of society. And the law actually, they take firearms possession and ownership very seriously. They are extremely, maybe even overly responsible and protective of gun rights and what we can and cannot do with firearms. And basically, they have let the public run free with abusing the martial arts, because they know that people that are not armed, they're not dangerous. You could teach them whatever you want to teach them, whatever choking technique, whatever punching and kicking techniques, whatever joint locks. They are not dangerous people compared to the people that have weapons, especially firearms. So I'm essentially encouraging real martial artists to train with firearms, and if possible, lawfully own and carry firearms, to set yourself at a level way above all these so-called martial artists that are just playing violent games that are detrimental to their health. When it comes to reality-based combat and real survival, the people with the guns are the ones that are in control. No matter it be the police officer, the armed citizen, or the armed criminal. All these people that are practicing all these silly martial art techniques and fighting over it, they are just living in a dreamland. It is all useless when it comes to modern day warfare and the use of firearms. And if everybody gets armed, the law steps in and forces people to be responsible. You're not allowed to just go out there and start waving your gun around, showing off your gun. It's going to get you arrested and probably get your gun revoked, your license revoked. You're not even allowed to drink and carry a firearm on you. So it forces people to be more responsible with alcohol abuse. You're not allowed to have a firearm if you've been arrested within the last 5 years, or if you had domestic battery or anything, if you ever got in trouble with the law in regards to, physical violence, you're not allowed to have a firearm. The law is very strict, and that forces people to be responsible. But when it comes to the martial arts, the law has just not even, they have not stepped into to make people become responsible, especially with allowing this thing such as the UFC and the cage fighting. They have failed to step in and take responsibility to protect the welfare of humanity. Just like they step in and they disallow child pornography for a reason, because they know that that's not good for society. They step in and say, hey, people cannot get involved in porn until they're at least 18 or 21 or whatever the case may be. They step in and say, hey, you're not allowed to drink until you're 21. They step in and say you're not allowed to drive until you're at least 16. They step in and say, hey, you're not allowed to smoke, take these drugs. So the law decides what they want to, how they want to influence the society and what they deem as safe and unsafe. But when it comes to this cage fighting, they have not done their job. And that's why the violence within this world, especially within the martial arts community, has escalated ever since this cage fighting has become, popular. So basically what I'm saying is I encourage people to go train in the most lethal methods possible, which is the firearms training, and then the law will come in and force responsibility upon the people. Because if I'm armed, and you're armed, and all my haters are armed, then it becomes a very serious situation. It's not a game. So if these haters are willing to ruin their lives, go to jail, and risk their own lives to kill me because of something I've said online, that's going to be a critical decision that they're going to make. And they have to decide if it's worth it. And that's the reality of how real violence is on the streets. You will risk going to jail, possibly for the rest of your life, and you will risk having your own life taken away from you. And if somebody says something that gets you angry, and it makes you want to either kill them or risk having yourself killed because of something they've said, that really indicates a strong lack in your psychological and spiritual development. And you are not a martial artist, you're far from it. You can't even take an insult from a stranger who's not even in front of your face, but who's on the internet, and now you want to seek out and kill this person because of this insult. It really shows your lack of emotional, mental, and spiritual development. And you do not belong in the martial arts. I think these guns, essentially, for the intelligent people, can bring peace. Because if I'm armed, and you're armed, and all my haters are armed, then hey, I say, hey, I don't want to fight. I have the right to express my opinion. This is freedom of speech. And you have the right not to listen, not to click on my video. So leave me alone. And then the argument should end there. I'm not forcing anything upon anybody. I never send personal messages to anybody. I just make videos expressing myself honestly, and people have the right not to watch. Just like I cannot prevent Dana White and all these fighters from creating these videos of them fighting and profiting and making money and hurting people, and then putting it all over the internet, putting it all over cable television, putting it all over the mass media. I can't stop that. I can't stop McDonald's from creating more McDonald's all over the world. But what I can do is not go to McDonald's, not support McDonald's, speak against McDonald's. And it's the same thing with the UFC and the MMA. I have the right to speak against them. I have the right not to support them. I have the right not to watch their videos. I have the right to protest against them. This is freedom of speech. I have the right to voice my opinion. But there are people out there that want to hurt people that are honest. Malcolm X, Dr. Martin King Jr. were assassinated not too long ago. They were standing up against something that they viewed to be wrong. Racism. I too speak against racism, but more specifically, within this martial arts community, I'm speaking against this senseless violence for profit that I see to be wrong. And if people want to hurt me because of that, because of me speaking, so be it. But I'm prepared. Because I have training and I know what to expect. But another thing is, I'm not afraid of death. At all. And that's something that people have a hard time understanding. Because almost everybody in this world is afraid of death. And that's exactly why there are very few martial artists in this world. Because so many people are in fear. And that's why they feel such a need to fight. But obviously, the videos that I'm putting out there are reaching out to certain people in a positive way. And I'm very thankful to see that. And as for the haters, maybe when you age, maybe when you grow, maybe when you mature, you may start to understand what I'm trying to do. But until then, you could hate me. Hate me all you want. But I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. And even if I die, my teachings will still live on. Just like Bruce Lee's teachings, they still live on. So, there's really not much that could be done. I will continue.